Hey guys, welcome back to some videos this week. I'm not exactly sure when this video will be released. I've got some other plans in mind for the next couple weeks. So this is just something I've been wanting to do for a while. And go over some effects and everything. And just to let you know, I will be using my Ibanez RG 4EX1 guitar for this video that you've probably seen already in my hangouts and everything. Beautiful guitar, love it. And so been working with it, been trying to get it to my specs and everything, and absolutely loving it. Still got a few more things on the setup to work on, but I'm new to Floyd Rose's fairly, but sounds amazing. So what I'm going to do, plan on doing anyway, is showing you the difference, not necessarily just the difference, but showing you the one versus the other, the benefits of having either multi-effects, and yes, I will be in socks today, multi-effects pedals or single effects pedals. And really it depends on the type of player you are. It depends on what you're going for. If you just want to practice and everything, my recommendation is a lot of times you'll get these amps that have all these multi-effects on them. Like I have a PV Viper 15, and it's an awesome amp and everything, but you can't really control everything with your feet. You have to do it, with your hands, and that's not very practical. Sure, it's good for practicing, but it's cool. Like I would like maybe one day to have a Marshall. Well, a Marshall doesn't have all these fancy effects, so I would need something with effects. So that's where you turn to either single or multi-effects pedals. And so we're going to go over those differences today, the advantages, the benefits, the cons, the pros, all that good stuff, and try to make this video kind of short. Right now, I'm playing on the actual settings that come preset with the RP. These are the factory settings. So these are just using their presets, not their 70. This is the RP355 that you hear me rave about, and I'm going to do another video series pretty soon on it, probably right after this one, maybe, I don't know, on just this pedal and it's some of its benefits and some of its presets, what they sound like. I wanted to do that when I first got the pedal about 3 years ago, but it just didn't turn out the way I wanted to, and I haven't got back to it since. Most of my videos have been about bluegrass, so I'm trying to gravitate a little bit more towards electric stuff, include some of that. So we're going to go over that pedal in a different video, but just today we're going through the presets of the RP355 and not my personal presets. Okay, so I have here my RP355 by Digitech, my MXR Prime Distortion pedal, my Ibanez TS9 Tube Screamer, and my Dunlop Crybaby 535Q wah pedal, which I love. And so we're going to go through that. So first of all, let's talk about the multi-effects, okay? First of all, you have multi-effects, like this one is called modded. And so here's what it sounds like. Try to get the levels just right. Okay, so it sounds like that, and so it's a very cool thing about multi-effects, in particular bigger ones like this with at least 3 pedals. You might not be able to see it, but this one has a 3rd pedal over here. We have a pedal here for the distortion. This actually can be converted into a Stompbox pedal. You have banks, which this one's called modded, this one's called comp clean, this one's called solo delay, deluxe. They have all these different presets or banks, and you go up. If you see right here, the arrow is pointing down, the arrow is pointing up. So these two are directional. And then within this particular one, you have an amp A and amp B. Amp A might be a clean amp or a distorted amp. So here's the amp A. And then amp B sounds like this. So the cool thing about that, it does have a little bit of delay, so it's not smooth. But on the fly, you can automatically go to like maybe a crunch for rhythm, and then go straight into your lead amp and your lead settings with this amp changer here. Okay, so the good thing about this particular one and multi-effects in general, that you have all these, you know, different settings to mess with. Also, you have a bypass. You can bypass this at any time by pushing both of these together. Now, one you know, con about these particular multi-effects pedals like this is that you have to be really, I mean, precise when you're trying to push down more than one pedal at once. If you're trying to do 2 pedals, you have to be precise, because if you're not, it's just going to go up and down. You'll get frustrated, so you have to be precise about that. That's one con about multi-effects pedals in general. So if you go to this, there's a bypass mode which you can use. See that? You have to be right accurate. There's a bypass which you can hear what the guitar sounds like clean. Okay, and also if you hold it down, you bypass and hold it down, you get a tuner. So you have your tuner there. So, you know, and you got the, you know, you can do your tuners. So the cool thing about multi-effects, one of the cool things is that you have your tuner all in that. So I realize you can get single effects tuners and things like that. But one good benefit about having multi-effects is the fact that you have, you know, hundreds of combinations and hundreds of effects in one single pedal. This pedal cost me maybe $165 when I first bought it on eBay, and it's totally worth it to me. I'm going to adjust my mic here. It's a little too close to my strap. Well, there we go. It was a little, you know, it lists for, I think, $199 or $299. I can't remember which. But this pedal is amazing, and you can have all these effects pedals in one. Whereas if you bought individual pedals, this one cost me, you know, it retails for $50. This one retails for like $90. So right there, I'm at $140. Okay, plus this one retails for like $120. So just for 3 effects, I'm already past what it cost me to get this. And this has a wah in it. You can turn your wah on and start playing around with it. Okay, it has a volume. Okay, so you've got all these different things that you can do with a multi-effects pedal. You have your expression pedal. You can map it to your volume. You can map it to your how much gain you want. You can map it to how much effects levels that you want, whether it be delay, chorus, whatever. That's the cool thing about this. You can also, with the V switch is what it's called. It's got a virtual switch. Turn your wah on, turn it back off, and you can. It has like 3 different wah presets. So with a multi-effects pedal, you get all these things in one, and you get to, you know, sit around for days and just practice and play along with these things. Also, each one of the multi-effects, if you see these knobs down here, they're controlled by these 3 knobs. And most multi-effects processors have these knobs that are, like if you have a MXR prime distortion pedal that this is based off of, like one of them is based off this, like they have a tube screamer in here, they have the Boss DS1 in here, and all that. All these knobs are, you know, exactly the same as these. These have 3 knobs. We got 6 down here, but they're mapped to 3 individual knobs somewhere in here in the chain. So you can, you know, you can tweak them just as you would if it was the actual pedal. So that's the beauty of having a multi-effects pedal there. And also this one has drums in it. You can turn the drums on. Okay, and there's all kinds of drum patterns. I think there's like 30 in here. And there's different variations, very different types. So we got blues, rock, and all this other stuff with a multi-effects pedal. Now I'm just talking from my experience with a bigger multi-effects pedal like this. This also has a looper that you can engage to create your own backing track, so to speak. So I can create one thing, go back over it, press it again and create another loop, press it again and continue to overdub all these different effects until I have my own little backing track that I can use. So that's a cool thing about that as well. I know you can't really see it even if I zoomed in, but all these have different parameters. We have over here these lights that are on, tells me what effects are on, what you know, if there's any EQ, which amp is on, if there's a wah enabled, like if I press my wah on, you can see it light up over here, this top light. Wah off. It tells me what, you know, I don't really pay attention to that much, but that is where you set all your parameter settings. So, and it kind of tells you where your tuner is as well. So, bottom line, these multi-effects pedals are amazing. And, you know, the cool thing about this one also is that you can go to stomp mode. See, it says stomp. You got stomp and presets. Presets, you know, is basically what it looks like. You've got all these banks. When you press up and down, you got banks. When I go to stomp mode, each one of these has their own preset delay, chorus or modulation effects, and distortion. Now, whether it has reverb or not, that's already either on or off. You can enable that. But check this out. Now I'm in Stompbox mode. So with this particular pedal, I can have individual pedals as well as multi-effects presets. That's the cool thing about that too. And so now I'm in Stompbox mode. So here's what it sounds like just by itself, you know, without anything changed. Now if I take my delay, turn it on, okay, I can take some chorus and turn it on as well. Take the delay off, take the chorus and turn some, well, it may be chorus, it may be flange, we don't know, let's find out. So that's a chorus. That's a chorus right there. Chorus and delay. So right there, automatically we have some lead, and we can turn these on or off. We can add more or turn distortion off. Now it sounds the same because it's probably got maybe something that's not much different than the regular distortion there. But right there off the bat, we can add, with this multi-effects pedal, this particular one, we have Stompbox mode. Now on the lower models like the 255 and the 155, you don't have Stompbox mode. I wanted this one specifically so that I could have Stompbox mode, and I bought it for that. Now there are some cons about this. I've already told you a lot of good stuff about having multi-effects pedals right off the top of my head. But some cons are, for instance, if you notice, these effects, when they're in Stompbox mode, they're instant. So there's no delay. I can turn it on and there's no delay of any kind. So what I mean by delay is not like delay like that. I mean, there's no loss in signal. There's no interruption there whenever you turn these on. But when you go back into presets mode and you get ready to change your presets, it takes a split second to load all the other things that are in each preset. So if I played this and wanted to switch to something else, whether it be amp A or amp B, hear that stop? There's a little interruption there. It's kind of like a kill switch. And if I did this, the same thing with presets. If I wanted to switch to a different preset, say I was playing a clean like this, and I wanted to go to distortion, it would interrupt the signal. It'd be a split second, you couldn't really hear it that much, but it's not, once again, instant like this. You know, those are instant. There's no loss in signal, there's no interruption at all. That's one of the disadvantages of having multi-effects pedals like this. And, you know, they have different multi-effects pedals. I know Digitech has a step up from this called the RP500 that has all these vacuum switches like this. There's like 3 or 4 rows of them. And maybe that's the RP1000. But the 500 has like 5 vacuum switches that each one is set up as a delay, a chorus, a distortion, a reverb, whatever. And then you have the bank switches up here. And that's the RP500. It's looks like a decent pedal too. I would have gone for that one. It's a little bit more expensive, but the reason I didn't is because if I went somewhere and wanted to take it, I didn't want to carry a big bulky pedal because it is probably as big as the MXR, you know, wide as from the MXR pedal over all the way to this. So it's a wide pedal. You know, if you're going to just practice by yourself, and here's the point I guess I'm getting to, if you're just going to practice by yourself and playing with these things by yourself, just practicing along. Plus, the cool thing about this one is you can take it directly out of USB and go straight into a computer and start recording. It comes with basic Cubase software and some other things I think come with it, but you can start recording immediately onto your computer of choice. And as far as practicing, like I said, just you and yourself, just practicing in a room, coming up with backing tracks, or recording, this is genius. This is awesome. It's when you play live that it becomes a little confusing, because you have to either set the clean preset to where you want it and make the clean change to a different amp. Like this is amp A clean, amp B clean. That's a little more distorted. You have to either switch those the way you want them, or switch now this is what I had to do when I had the RP80. I mean, it was an old thing. I had 2 pedals and an expression pedal, and I had to actually set, there was no Stompbox mode. I had to actually set a clean channel and then a distorted channel right after that, like a lead, and and do this stuff. Mess around doing that stuff, and that's no fun, because sometimes you want a song that's got a lot of chorus, a lot of reverb, a lot of effects, a bunch of delay, and you don't have time to sit here and go to Stompbox mode, turn your delay on, take it out of Stompbox mode, go back to another preset, and by the time you come back to this preset, if you haven't stored it, which you don't do live, if you haven't stored this preset, it goes back to what it was. So for example, if I take this and I need some more chorus, so let's turn the Stompbox mode on, put some chorus on here, put some delay on here, and put it back in preset mode, so that's good. And then when I switch to my lead setting and come back to clean, all this is gone. So it's back to what it was. So that's one of the bad things about multi-effects pedals, is that it's set a certain way, and unless you store it, you can store all these in different presets and things, but on a live stage, it gets very confusing sometimes. As much as customizable as this is, and as much as you can edit all this stuff, it gets very confusing live. So for multi-effects, I recommend these be used for practice or jamming or recording. Now, I don't recommend these for live, okay? Because even if you did put it in Stompbox mode, you're stuck with one setting. You're stuck with one preset. And then you can add your distortion, your chorus, or your delay. So you have to have that perfect preset that will make you feel good. So you're stuck with that. So that's the downside to multi-effects pedals. The good thing about it is you got power supply. You don't have to worry about 9-volt batteries. It's hooked up through its own power supply. It's got, this particular pedal has both 1/4 inch and XLR outputs for if you wanted to go to a mixer or to your amp. It's got an amp modeling cabinet. It's got a switch on there if you're plugged into an amp, or if you're plugged in through your headphones, so that it would, through your headphones, make it sound like it's modeling a cabinet a little bit different than it would on an amplifier. So there's a lot of good benefits to that, but you have some cons as well, as you saw. Now moving on to the individual effects. These are good, but the main bad thing about these is price point. Okay, for one other thing I forgot to mention is that right here, if I took this this multi-effects pedal, this whole multi-effects pedal is my pedal board. Okay, I've got my wah in a logical place. I'm right-handed, so I'll use my right foot. So if you're, I don't know if you're left-handed, I don't know. I've seen Joe Satriani have his wah over here all the way left, but use his, or the right, and use his left foot. But I guess that's just your personal preference. But this is my whole pedal board right here. I don't have to lug all the extra equipment, bunch of power cables and all this stuff. It's right there. Now, with these, the downside is, like I said, the price point. You have to have some kind of pedal board. If not, you're going to be carrying individual pedals in cases and having to get them out and put all these patch cables in between them and all this stuff, and that's no fun. With this, you plug in and go out into your amp, and you're done. You're set. So we have these pedals that are individual. The good thing about this is, and I'm trying, if I get a chance to try to stock up on individual pedals here and there. Like not long ago, I did a MXR Prime distortion pedal review that was basically, I got a $25 gift certificate to Musician's Friend, and I didn't want to buy strings and picks and things that I could get any old time. I wanted something special. So I went for the Stompbox here, a distortion pedal, because I want eventually to get individual effects pedals, and maybe start trading and find something that I really enjoy, because one of these days I might want to play live, or I might want to be have a little more control. See, with this I have a little more control what I want to do on live. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and say that this is the tone that I've got. Go ahead and enable Stompbox mode. Let's pretend that this is my individual delay pedal, just like these. This is my individual chorus, and I have two individual distortions right here, okay? Now, the one thing bad about this is whenever I feed this is in the chain, this is before the multi-effects. That's another bad thing about a multi-effects pedal, is that if you're feeding something into it, it's going to sound terrible. Like, for instance, when I turn this prime distortion pedal on, terrible. Until I go to bypass mode, and then I can actually go somewhere. Still has that hum sound because I've got it on a daisy chain, but either way, you have to either put it after the effects pedal signal, or it might be because that this pedal is analog distortion, whereas this is all digital. Okay, so it might have something to do with that. I'm not sure. But anyway, for the sake of argument, instead of using my MXR pedal, we're going to use Ibanez, because when it feeds into that, it doesn't sound as bad, okay? So that'll be my distortion pedal. This will be my delay, my chorus. So we got the chorus, delay, distortion, individual, I got my wah over here, so in that case, I have more control. I don't have to worry about a preset. I basically use the tone of my amp. Like, let's just say I wanted a dirty distortion. Okay? And the volume's a little low, but I'm not going to turn it up or anything, because when I do distortion, it'll turn up on its own. So I have control. I have just a standard amp channel, amp setting, and say I've got a Marshall that doesn't have all these effects, but I have all these other effects to complement that. So now I can have my individual control, as I don't have to worry about going out of stomp mode, changing the amp model, and then having all my effects ready. They're already here. I don't have to worry about going through all these different processes to get to my effects. They're already there. So if I need a distortion, a little bit more gain from that crunch to go into a lead sound, I can turn my delay on if I've got individual delay. Chorus. Wah pedal. And then from there, I have to go turn everything off, of course. But all you do from there is just turn your volume knob down. That's a good trick that I learned from Paul Gilbert, and some other professionals. Always, when you're done, turn your volume knob down so that all this, extra feedback doesn't happen. You want as clean as possible sound whenever you get done soloing or whatever. So, as far as individual pedals, I've already gave you the cons and the pros of multi-effects pedals. Individual pedals, the cons obviously are you have to buy individual pedals. You have to have some form of transporting them, whether it be through a pedal board or a bag. You have to carry a bunch of 9-volt batteries or a power supply. Like I've got the Godlock power supply that I use. But the problem with that is if you hook it up to the same, power surge or surge protector, power strip, it kind of gives you that, kind of gives you that sound. It's got a lot of that, hum to it. go. I got to turn my wah pedal off. So you hear the hum. So definitely this one too. So you've got a bunch of stuff happening there. So, like I said, you have to have a power supply with some kind of daisy chain or a bunch of 9-volt batteries. And if you're not careful, if you do not unplug the individual pedals, the 9-volt batteries will suck them, they'll suck them dry. But you do have complete control. The one thing is that you're fiddling around with a bunch of pedals at all times, I really prefer, myself, since I don't play a lot of electric guitar live, I prefer a multi-effects pedal so that I don't have to go out and buy all these individual pedals to get a tone that I want. And seriously, there is tones in this thing that I love that I just can't get from any other pedals because they are modified to have that specific sound of the Boss DS1 or the Ibanez Tube Screamer. And not only that, but cabinets and amp models such as Mesa Boogies or Soldanos or metal amps and things like that I would have to have 300 pedals, seriously, just to get the tones that I want from this one pedal. I'd have to have like 300 individual effects. So I know that all the big names use individual effects like Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, Satriani, Guthrie Govan, everybody that plays live that's professional don't use multi-effects. But at the same time, they all have practice amps. So they all have things that are beneath, huge star level status. The point of this video is to say that yes, you can have your individual effects pedals, just as there is a ton of difference between an electric guitar and acoustic guitar, and the fact that with an electric guitar, you have to lug all these amps and pedals around. An acoustic guitar, you don't. Well, with multi-effects pedals, you don't have to lug a lot of equipment around, but you do with a lot of single effects. But the pro to that is, even though you're lugging around multiple cords, multiple power batteries, and multiple pedals, you have control. And the good thing about the multi-effects pedals is a lot of times you can get looping and you can get a drum pattern and all that stuff, and you have your tuner. You can always notice you can get a tuner as well down here, but it just becomes a foot tag, if you have all these pedals at your disposal. It's kind of what you have to do live to avoid the whole preset trap. But I don't know. It's basically, this is for you to decide what you want to do. This is through the years what I've found to be helpful for me. I like a combination of both, but like I said, if you have analog or some kind of other pedal going through this, then you're going to have a kind of a messed up tone. But it doesn't sound as good to me when I put this after that, and I've tried it, so I don't know what it is about that. But anyway, there's still stuff to experiment about. But anyway, that's basically what this video was about. No, there wasn't a lot of playing, but there's going to be some more playing in other videos. This was basically an informative video for you to decide what you wanted to do as far as effects pedals. So with that, I want to sign off and say check out these pedals, RP355 by Digitech, the MXR Prime Distortion pedal, Ibanez Tube Screamer. Definitely check out the Dunlop Crybaby 535Q. It's one of the most versatile wah pedals in the world. This particular model was an older one, so it uses two 9-volts. So I ended up buying the Dunlop power supply for it. But so I mean, you're going to have a bunch of 9-volts or power supplies, or some kind of power supply for all these individual pedals. But definitely check them out. They're worth checking out. Go to a store, try them out. Go to a Guitar Center, someplace that sells musical equipment wherever you're at. Try them out. Look up on YouTube. Look at the different reviews. But try them out for yourself for sure before you buy, so that you'll know what you want to get. Yes, this is kind of a lot of money up front, but in the long run, if you're not going to play live, most people want to play live. I understand that. But if you're just a musician who wants to use this for the studio and record, I definitely recommend this, because you don't have to worry about timing, because you can set the record button, you can stop the record button, have time to work on your own, effects and tweak them out, then push record again, you're set to go. So definitely recommend them. Check them out. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here and say have a good day. Enjoy this review or this video. Please subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, And check out my website at secretsoftexasbluesguitar.com. That's basically it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day. Rock these pedals out, and God bless.